Okay, grade 3s and grade 4s. When you do the IXL this week, if you get an answer wrong, they're going to show you a strange solution. And I want to talk about what they're doing in their solutions because I want you to understand it. And when you get to junior grades, you need to know how to do this. The equal sign, what the equal sign really means is that what's the value on this side of the equation must be the same as the value on this side of the equation. So if I have 5 apples and Mr. Priolo has 2 apples, altogether we have 7 apples, which is the sum. In other words, 7 equals 7. And you can kind of think of like a scale, if I were to measure the mass of something, or if you thought of a scale, if I have 7 apples on this side of the scale, I must have 7 apples on that side of the scale to keep it even. Okay? So the value on this side of the equation must always equal the value on this side. So 7 equals 7. Okay, knowing that, if I had 5 apples and Mr. Priolo has 2 apples, altogether we have 7 apples. Now if Mr. Priolo ate his 2 apples, so I still have my 5 apples. Mr. Priolo had 2 apples, but then he subtracted the 2 apples when he ate them. So to find out how many apples we have left, you would take the sum and subtract the 2 apples that Mr. Priolo ate. And they will show you this on IXL, and I wanted you to understand why they were doing it that way. So if I had 5 apples, Mr. Priolo had 2 apples, but then he ate them. He subtracted the 2 apples. So to find how many apples are left, I need to also subtract 2 from this side. So the answer is my 5 apples are left, and to find that, it would be the total number of apples minus the 2 that Mr. Priolo ate. Okay, let's just do one more. If I had 10 apples and Mr. Priolo has 3 apples, altogether we have 13 apples. If Mr. Priolo eats his 3 apples, I still have my 10 apples. Mr. Priolo had 3 apples, but then he ate them. So he's going to take them away. So to find out how many apples we have left altogether, I'm taking the sum and subtracting the 3 apples that Mr. Priolo ate. So I still have my 10 apples. Mr. Priolo has no apples because he ate them. 3 minus 3 is 0. His apples are all gone. So to figure out the answer, I would have to subtract 3 on this side. So the sum, subtract the 3 apples that Mr. Priolo ate, would equal the apples that I have left over, or 10 equals 10. So each side of the scale is still balanced. We have 10 on each side. So this is getting into more complicated thinking, but I thought I would do this anyway, just so you understand it. And when you see the IXL solutions, they're a little bit more complicated. And I love IXL, but sometimes they can be a little tricky, a little complicated in their explanations. So you don't really need to know that this year. Grade 4s, you should kind of understand it, because when you move up into grade 5 and higher, this will come more into play. Any questions, let me know, and take care.